Hello, I am Chelsea Foster and I am your child's teacher. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about special education and where it comes from and what it has to do with our kids. It is best to identify and provide effective services with students with LD, which is learning disabilities. That is the most frequent identified class of disabilities among students in public schools. This focus takes an additional importance because the identification and provision of services to students with LD typically take place within a context of persistent debate among the definition of the disability or the diagnostics, the criteria that the assessment was used, the content, intensity of the duration, and the policies and legal requirements that the guide identification of the education with students with learning disabilities. Early interventions such as RTI, recognition and response inclusive dyslexia, are just some strategies used for early learning disabilities. IDEA lists 13 different disabilities. These disabilities are categorized under autism, deafness, blindness, deafness, emotional disturbance, hearing impairment, intellectual disabilities, multiple disabilities, orthopedic impairment, other health impairment, a specific learning disability, speech or language impairment, traumatic brain injury, or a visual impairment. So your rights as parents. The federal regulation has made up a safeguard for you parents. These safeguards are designed to protect the rights of you and your child with disabilities. At the same time, give families and school systems several ways to help resolve disputes. The rights of a parent receive the complete explanation of the procedure of the safeguard. Confidentially, you have the right to inspect and review your educational records of the child. The rights of a parent is also to participate in meetings that are related for identification, evaluation, placement of your child, and the provision of FAPE, which means it's the free appropriate public education for your child. So in order to be an effective educator, they use an ongoing assessment to identify their students' abilities and levels in various different academic areas that help guide their instruction. In special education, the assessment process is absolutely essential. Parents, teachers, specialists, counselors depend on multiple assessments to identify your students' strengths, weaknesses, and progress. Both standardized or criteria referred, but testing is not the only way educators measure student ability. Assessments are evaluations and might consist of anything from simple observations that a teacher may just jot down some terms or some things that the student is doing, but then they'll use student works, and assignments that help with the understanding of a disability. And this is like a multi-stage procedure that is just little steps to the big portfolio of the student work. So the most common assessments in special education include intelligent tests, so like IQ scores, group intelligent tests that are achieved often inside the classroom, skill evaluation specialists such as school speech pathologists and children's general practitioners use certain diagnostic measurements for determining a child's gross and motor skills, fine manipulative skill learning, and sight, speech, and language disability. The IEP process. Step 1. A child is identified as possibly needing special education and related service. This is just a referral or request of evaluation. A school's professional may ask that a child be evaluated to see if he or she has a disability. The parents may also contact the child's teacher or other school professionals to ask them about the evaluation. This request may be verbal, but it is best to be put in writing. Parent consent is needed before a child may be evaluated. Step 2. A child is evaluated. Evaluation is an essential early step in the special education process for children. It's intended to answer these following questions. So does the child have a disability that requires the provision of special education and related services? what are the child's specific educational needs, what special evaluation service and related services then are appropriate for addressing these needs. Step 3. Eligibility is decided. A group of qualified professionals and parents look at the child's evaluation results. Together they decide if the child is a child with disabilities. If the parents do not agree with the eligibility decision, they may ask for a hearing to challenge the decision. Step 4. A child is found eligible for services. If a child is found to be a child with a disability under IDEA, he or she is eligible for special education services or other related services. Within 30 calendar days after a child is determined by eligibility, a team of school professionals and parents must meet and write an individual education program, which is the IEP. Step 5. An IEP meeting is scheduled. The school system schedules and conducts the IEP meeting. School staff must contact the participants, including parents, notify parents early enough to make sure that they have an opportunity to attend. Schedule the meeting at a time where the placement agreeable for both parents and the school. Tell parents the purpose, time, and location of the meeting, and also tell the parents who will be attending. Also tell the parents that they may invite people to the meeting who have knowledge or special experience about your child. Step 6. An IEP meeting is held and the IEP is written. The IEP team will gather and talk to the child about the child's needs and write the IEP. Parents and the student are full participating members of the team. If a child's placement is decided by a different group, a parent must be part of that as well. 7. After an IEP is written, services are provided. The school makes sure that all children's IEPs is carried out as it is written. Step 8. Progress is measured and reported to parents. The child's progress towards an annual goal is measured as it's stated in the IEP. Step 9. IEP is reviewed. A child's IEP is reviewed by the IEP team at least once a year or more often if the parent or school asks for a review. Step 10. Child is reevaluated. At least every 3 years, the child must be reevaluated. Its purpose is to find out that the child continues to be a child with disabilities, and what the child's educational needs are. Speech and other language pathology and audiology services, interpreting services, psychological services, physical services, and occupational therapy, recreation, including recreation, early identification and assessments of disabilities in children, counseling services, and orientation of mobility services, medical services, diagnostic and evaluation purposes. These are all just different type of services that the school may be provided for the child. The parents do not, in a public education, parents do not need to pay for any of these services. Schools will provide these services. Alright, thanks for watching my video. I hope you kind of learned a little bit about special education with your child. If you have any questions, feel free to always contact me or your child's direct teacher. Alright, thank you.